You ever work so hard for something, pouring your heart and soul into it, only to have it ripped away? That's what happened to me. And the people who betrayed me weren't strangers. They were my own parents. Growing up, I always felt like the backup plan in my family. My sister, Melissa, was the golden child. She got the praise, the parties, the attention. I got the leftovers. But I didn't complain. Instead, I worked. I had one dream: to buy my own car. Not just any car, but the exact one I'd been obsessed with since I was a kid. A used but sleek Mustang that sat on a lot near my school. Every time we drove by, I swore to myself, one day, that will be mine. So I started hustling. Babysitting, dog walking, late-night diner shifts, even tutoring kids from my school. Every dollar went into my savings jar and later into a bank account. While Melissa spent her weekends shopping with friends using my parents' money, I was wiping tables and saving tip after tip. By the time I turned 19, I had finally saved enough. It wasn't brand new, but that Mustang was mine. Signing those papers at the dealership was the proudest moment of my life. For once, I had something that was 100% mine. Not handed down, not borrowed, not gifted. Mine. But my happiness didn't last. A few months later, I came home from class and the driveway was empty. My car, gone. I thought maybe it had been towed, but then I walked inside. My parents were sitting there casually, sipping coffee. "Where's my car?" I demanded. My mom looked at me like it was no big deal. "Oh, we sold it. Melissa needed something reliable to get to her new job." My heart stopped. My car? Sold? "You what?" I shouted. My dad added, "Calm down. She's your sister. We'll all benefit if she's successful. It's just a car." Just a car? That was my blood, sweat, and tears. My freedom, my independence. And they handed it over to Melissa like it was nothing. That's when I decided they were going to regret it. For weeks, I felt like I was living in a nightmare. Every time I saw Melissa pull up in my car, my stomach twisted. She'd park it in the driveway like a trophy, tossing her hair as if she deserved it. I asked my parents how much they sold it for. They brushed me off. "Don't worry about the details. It's better this way." Better for who? Certainly not me. The worst part? Melissa knew how much it meant to me. She used to tease me about how I'd talk about my future Mustang. And now she drove it every day without shame. I tried to reason with my parents. That was my car. My money. You had no right. My mom snapped back. "We're your parents. Don't forget everything we've done for you. Your sister needed it more." That was the moment I stopped trying to be understood. I realized they'd never see me as anything but second best. But deep down, I knew something they didn't. I was smarter, tougher, and far more determined than Melissa. So I started planning. I didn't scream or slam doors anymore. I smiled. I stayed calm. And I began documenting everything. The receipts from the dealership, my bank withdrawals, even the side jobs I worked to save up. If they thought they could erase what I did, they were wrong. Meanwhile, I doubled down on myself. I took more shifts, picked up freelance work online, and stacked cash like my life depended on it. Every dollar wasn't just for me now. It was ammunition. Because I knew one thing. One day, I'd get it back. And not just the money, but the respect they thought I didn't deserve. Melissa, meanwhile, treated my car like it was her crown jewel. She'd post pictures on Instagram with captions like, "Finally got my dream ride," as if she had worked a single hour for it. Her friends would comment things like, "OMG, you're so lucky," and "Your parents are the best." And every time I saw those posts, it felt like a knife in my chest. But luck doesn't last forever. Within a year, Melissa started slipping. She quit her dream job after a few months, bounced between part-time gigs, and started racking up credit card debt. My parents bailed her out every time, convinced she was just going through a rough patch. I stayed quiet. But behind the scenes, my business side hustle was growing. I'd taken an online course in digital marketing, and soon small businesses were paying me to run their ads. What started as a $300 project turned into thousands. By the time Melissa was asking our parents for gas money, I had enough saved to buy another car, even nicer than the Mustang. But I didn't rush. Revenge isn't about rushing. It's about timing. And then the moment came. Melissa got into a minor accident. Nothing major, but enough to dent the car and rack up repair bills. She begged my parents for money, but even they were starting to run out of patience. That's when she turned to me. "Can you help me out?" she asked, sheepish for once. I looked her dead in the eyes. "Oh, you mean with my car? The one you're driving around like it's yours?" Her face turned red. "It's mine now. Mom and Dad said—" I cut her off. "No, Melissa. It was mine. I bought it. I paid for it. And now, you're going to pay me back." At first, she laughed, like it was a joke. But when I pulled out the paperwork, the bill of sale, the bank withdrawals, everything I had documented, her laughter died. "You kept all this?" she whispered. "Every cent," I said. My parents tried to intervene. "Don't do this. She's your sister. Families share." I turned to them, calm and collected. "Families don't steal. You didn't share. You took." Melissa squirmed in her seat. "I don't have that kind of money." I smiled. "Then you'd better start working." At first, she thought I was bluffing, but I wasn't. I had already spoken to a lawyer friend of mine who told me I had a case. Technically, since the car was purchased in my name and I had proof of ownership, what my parents did bordered on theft. So I gave Melissa a choice. Pay me back every dollar, or I'd take her to court. Suddenly, the golden child wasn't so shiny anymore. She had no job, no savings, and no way out. My parents tried to guilt-trip me, but I didn't budge. And then the best part happened. Melissa actually had to get a job. For the first time in her life, she was working long shifts, saving money, and handing it over to me month after month. The look on her face every time she gave me cash, pure gold. The repayment dragged on for over a year. Melissa whined, complained, and even tried to get out of it, but I held firm. If she missed a payment, I reminded her of the legal documents. My parents were furious with me at first. "How can you do this to your sister?" my mom cried. I shot back, "How could you do this to me? You sold what I worked years for. You humiliated me. And now, she's finally learning the value of hard work." Deep down, I think even they started to respect me for it. Because while Melissa was handing over envelopes of cash, I was thriving. My business kept growing, and I invested wisely. By the time she made her final payment, I had already bought a brand new car, one far nicer than the Mustang. But I didn't flaunt it. I didn't need to. Because the real revenge wasn't the car. It wasn't even the money. It was the transformation. I went from being the overlooked child to the one in control, the one they couldn't ignore anymore. And Melissa? She became the one constantly compared to me. The day Melissa handed me her final payment, I'll never forget it. She slid the envelope across the table, her hands shaking, her eyes full of resentment. "There. You have it all back. Happy?" she snapped. I leaned back, smiled, and said, "Happier than you'll ever know." My parents sat in silence. For once, they didn't defend her. They didn't scold me. Because deep down, they knew. I was right. I didn't just make Melissa repay me. I made her face reality. I made her understand that life isn't handed to you on a silver platter. That hard work matters. And in the end, I got something far better than revenge. I got justice. Now, whenever I drive my car, the one I bought with my own money and success. I smile. Not because of the car itself, but because I know the truth. They tried to take away my pride, my independence, my achievement. Instead, they handed me the greatest motivation I could ever ask for. So if you've ever been underestimated, betrayed, or pushed aside by the very people who should have supported you, remember this: work hard, stay patient, document everything. And when the time comes, don't just get even, get ahead, because success is the sweetest revenge.